Welcome to Portfolio Builders Club. Hope you're having a wonderful time in the markets here. Definitely been in a bull market, having a lot of activity to the upside recently. Bitcoin is pushing 90,000 right now, and it looks like it's headed to trend all the way up to 100K. And right now we're looking at another swing where we have a discount value close to the 1 hour 50-day moving average, and we're going to talk about that. All right, so looking at Bitcoin. Here we have the 1 hour chart. Normally we look at the daily chart, but on the 1 hour chart, we have the 50 EMA. This is the 1 hour 50 EMA. And you notice that the Bitcoin price has maintained above that level as it's been bullish here, headed up toward the 100K mark. So what we'll do is anticipate that on average that the price will continue to stay above that if we expect to hit 100K. Otherwise, if it gets below this 50 EMA, then we'll expect that there'll be some period of pullback before it continues on. So right now, as we look at the price, once we got to 90K, we hit some resistance there. We did get above 90K, came back. We are still above that 50 EMA, and we would anticipate that this might be the last swing before it starts to push into that 95K and maybe 100K level. So right now is a discount price close to this 50-day moving average. So if we look at and think about the 100K mark and what that might mean psychologically to everyone, as investors have been in this maybe much earlier at 30, 40, 50,000, and maybe even earlier than that 100K mark is going to be a significant mark for folks who may consider taking profits. So as we move closer to the 100K price, it may actually not get to that price before folks start to sell. And you'll see a lot of volatility as an expectation close to this price. So, and maybe even some consolidation as some people are just jumping in because they're just hearing about it and thinking, oh, wow, I can't believe it got to 100K. But you're going to have a lot of folks who are cashing out, who are saying, hey, let me cash out a third of my position, half of my position, whatever, to go ahead and realize those gains while it is up at this level. Because as you know, with crypto, it can move really quickly up and it can move really quickly down. So the key here is to monitor as you get closer and closer to the 100K mark, definitely through 95 and upwards to 98 and 99 to see what's really going on at that particular point. The 50-day moving average may be a good gauge at that point, or you may want to drop down to lower time frames to really take a closer look at it to see if price is starting to trend back down again. But otherwise, that's going to be a very significant mark. Whether or not it can get above that is going to be very significant as well. But right now, it looks like we are making that last swing to make an attempt to get to 100K. So let's take a look at the total market cap as well for crypto. And looking at the total market cap on this 1 hour chart, you'll see the same thing, that we've gone all the way up to the all-time high market cap of about $3 trillion. So we had $3 trillion invested into crypto at this point. And we had a slight pullback, but this seems like another swing that could go above eventually that all-time high. So we'll have to really monitor this to see how it's performing and if the market really goes above this 3 trillion mark, meaning more money is in crypto than ever before. So we'll continue to monitor that situation. Let's take a look at a couple other altcoins here. We'll go to Bonk. So Bonk is showing the same movement on the 1 hour chart that this 50 EMA, this is the 1 hour 50 EMA, is bullish, and the price is maintaining on average above that price. So as long as we stay above that price, and every time we get close to that price, we think of that as a discount price, we will continue to expect that this will trend to the upside. If it gets below this 50-day moving average, that's where you're going to be more cautious about the direction. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum did come back to this 1 hour 50 EMA, and we were expecting it to push off as would follow Bitcoin, but it has started a bit of a downturn. I don't know if this is due to other coins being more interesting to folks, or not. But this, again, once we got below that 50 EMA, is indicating some weakness in that movement. Of course, we made this high here, but we have made a lower high and another lower high here. So it looks like there is some support just below this, though. So maybe we'll mark that out. Looks like some level of support right there. But otherwise, we need to continue to monitor this to see where it's really going to go. But right now, it is showing a bit of weakness on Ethereum. We'll take a look at SUI. We're just looking at some of the ones that are kind of popular right now. So looking at SUI, again, 50 EMA on the 1 hour chart is positive right now. We are having this swing, this current swing. So we're going to monitor to see if it maintains that swing, if it dips below or anything like that. But we'll see if it maintains that swing. Another way to look at some of these swings would be to draw a counter trend line like this and wait for the break of that counter trend line. So things like that would prevent you from getting in early, like on a move like this one, and the same thing with a move like this one. So that you even though it goes negative, you can see when it starts to go positive and start to monitor that. Otherwise, you would just wait until it actually moved above that 50-day moving average again, and then that's when you get in. So let's just mark those as an example of when it starts to move above the 50-day moving average again after a previous drop. And you can see the performance of the price beyond that particular point. So we'll switch over and take a look at the overall market. We'll look at the MAG7 next. So let me switch back to the daily chart. So now we're looking at the MAG7. We're back on the daily charts here again, and we're taking a macro look at the market at this particular point just to see what's really going on here. With Apple, we were looking at a Fibonacci swing that pulled back into about the 50% level. And then it did push up all the way back up to the previous highs again. And now we're sitting on the 100-day moving average and the 25-day moving average, sort of squeezing a bit here. The anticipation for Apple is that it would eventually push up and shoot all the way up into this like 256 price target roughly. So over time, this is a daily chart again, we'd expect that final movement up to the upside. It's not the final movement, but another swing up to the upside. Looking at Amazon. Amazon has already pushed through the previous high levels here, broken out and continued up to the upside. We'll have to determine if there's any levels that we specifically are looking for, but as long as it maintains above this 25-day moving average, we would consider that a positive move. So any break of counter trend lines moving to the upside would continue to be opportunities. So we'll just have to continue to monitor to see how far Amazon can go. Of course, large company. We entering into the holiday season. We'd expect them to have a lot of revenue at least. And so we'll continue to see how they perform. Let's go to Google. Here we are with Google. Previously, we drew this counter trend line. We were looking for that break and for it to maintain above the 25-day moving average. It has done that and it's continued up to this particular level. So we'll continue to monitor that to see if it can continue to get to our price target up here about 192. Meta, same thing. We drew a counter trend line. It has broken out that counter trend line. It is trending above the 25-day moving average. We'd anticipate that it will continue to trend up to price target 3 here, which would be about 622. Microsoft. So Microsoft has been sort of struggling to really get a good trend going. You might consider this consolidation, but in previous videos, we marked out the discount price below this 200-day moving average. As we saw previous times, once it got below that 200-day moving average, that appeared to be a discount price. This discount price, and we've now moved in a positive direction away from that discount price. And the anticipation is that it would continue all the way up to about the 467 level. We did have some smaller levels marked out here, like 441 as an interim level. But our discount price is holding true, so that is good for now, and we will just have to monitor to see what happens. Netflix, so powerful company, never to be underestimated. Like we always mention, despite the competition, Netflix is a solid company. They do have the Mike Tyson fight as well. So we would anticipate that to have even more revenues because of that particular fight. We've already completed like our complete swing here based on a Fibonacci swing, pull back to the 61.8 golden zone ratio level, and it has continued to push all the way up to this extension on the negative 61.8, and it's gone beyond. Now, once we get up here, we would expect some sort of pullback to occur and then a continuation on. So right now we sort of wait and see what happens in terms of the price action. But as long as we're above this 25-day moving average, we'd anticipate that overall trend is going to remain to the upside. NVIDIA. So with NVIDIA, we're again on a Fibonacci swing here. So we had the swing from here to here. We pulled back, below the 61.8 ratio, and now we're pushing up. Next price target is 157, and then the price target above that is about 180. I'll just say is the next price target above that. So let's see what it is exactly. 179, 180. Yes. So we'll continue to monitor this. It's moving smoothly above the 25-day moving average. As long as it maintains above that, again, we anticipate that it'll hit these targets. Tesla. So Tesla Fibonacci swing again. We're looking at the swing from here to here, pulled back to the 61.8. It has pushed all the way up to the 61.8. Now we anticipate somewhat of a pullback before it might continue on. Previous all-time highs are sitting way up here, so we would expect some sort of pullback and then a sort of a push toward that level. So we're still positive on Tesla at the current moment. We'll take a look at the SPY. And maybe the NASDAQ and QQQ and some others here in order to sort of get a feel for the overall market. Okay, so as we pull up the SPY, you'll see we've been talking about this overall trend in the discount price, within the 100-day moving average and the 200-day moving average, definitely a discount area. When price gets close to that or within that particular zone. And we've been continuing to trend up, and we have a trend line at the top side of this particular trend. So we anticipate the price will move from that 100, 200-day moving average range all the way up to the top of that trend line there. Right now, we are experiencing a lot of volatility in recent times, but price is still trending in the upward direction. So we'll continue to monitor that. Right now, we're above the 25-day moving average, so any movement, counter trend breaks to the upside, we'd anticipate will continue on. Next price target is about 640, 642. So that is a lot of room there. One of the things to anticipate, though, with the SPY is that we are at the end of the year. Some folks may be doing tax loss harvesting and selling off any of their down positions to offset all of these gains that folks have been making all year, really. So we'd anticipate some pullback that might happen in the last month here in December. But overall, we're looking at the trend continuing, into 2025 and beyond. Now, the other thing to consider also is in January, some folks who are really up in major positions who want to go ahead and liquidate those positions may wait till January to liquidate those positions. So in January, you may see some pullbacks as well when or if that happens. So continue to watch that. So let's jump over to the other ETFs we were talking about. Look at TQQQ, and you'll see that is trending still to the previous all-time high. It's almost there, actually. So if we get counter trend line, a pullback, we can have a counter trend line break similar to these. You see his price was down in between 100 200 day. We used the counter trend line to see how price was going to perform. And if that happens again, we'll see. But it is really close to this previous all-time high for TQQQ. Let's look at QQQ. Should be similar. Looks like a very similar chart. It has been moving up as well. So we'll continue to monitor that. Let's take a look at VOO. So this is Vanguard S&P 500. Again, looking very good here. Trending very positively. Now we had a bigger, more major Fibonacci on this from the 2020 year all the way up to here, and then we had a pullback of 50%. Now we're expecting us to hit this 61.8 up here, which is 589. So We'll continue to monitor that for VOO. VTI, same or similar movement. We look at that 50% Fibonacci retracement. It's continuing on. It hit the 27, and we're anticipating it to get to the 327 over time. Now, again, this may be in 2025 when it gets there, but that's the anticipation of it. And again, you could have a pullback in the process of that happening. Okay, XLF, similar movement here, Fibonacci movement dating back to 2020, and then we see that going up, coming back 50%, and then continuing on. And our target here is about 58, 57, 58. All right, and let's take a look at GLD. And GLD for this year has been trending largely right around this 25-day moving average. The other average would be the 100-day moving average, which it is getting very close to. It has been maintaining positivity, but of course this has been happening all year, and we've had a lot of news and things that have hit at the end of the year here, and a lot of activity in the market. So it has fallen down to the 100-day moving average. So we will be watching this particular zone to see what happens. So again, we'll use a counter trend line here and maybe give it a little bit of room there to breathe, but we'll use the counter trend line to determine if the price is actually turning toward the upside once it hits these major levels of the 100-day moving average, if it even gets down to the 200-day moving average. But we'll use this counter trend line to sort of measure that, and then also the 25-day moving average to see if price gets above that, and then we would expect that continuation on. But for now, it has pulled back significantly, and we'll continue to monitor that. IWM. So IWM did break through previous all-time highs. It did move up as anticipated from these value areas between the 100 and the 200-day moving average. We do have a major gap here, and what we expect with a gap is a lot of times folks will say a gap fills, but realistically what happens with gaps, usually when the first time price comes back to it, it serves as a pivot zone. So we will either have a pivot off of the top of the zone or maybe the midpoint of this particular zone, and then it may continue on up. So that's my experience with gaps, that typically they serve as pivot zones, especially when price is above them. That's how it generally works. So we'll see what happens and monitor that movement. Once we get there, we can use, again, another kind of trend line to monitor that as well. So we'll leave that there. All right. Okay, so that'll just conclude this market update. That's it, Portfolio Builders Club.